board meeting Wednesday. Beyond the boardroom. Beyond the boardroom.
All right. We could not be more excited to kick off another board meeting Wednesday. I'm here with my guest, Samir. Samir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brad. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
No, absolutely. I'm glad to be on this.
Awesome. Well, let me go ahead and tell the viewers and our listeners what they can expect by joining us today. So, guys, Board Meeting Wednesdays, what we do is we interview top retailers and verticals all across the country so we can learn and understand what's going on in their business when it comes to technology that helps them grow and scale their business. We're going to dive into 3 of their top software platforms and learn how does it help give the customers a better experience? How does it really invoke culture in their business with their team? And ultimately, how does it help them save and make money? My guest Samir today is an entrepreneur with a background in real estate. He took that passion for sales over the past several years and expanded into the retail market and has owned multiple businesses over the past decade. He has grown and scaled those organizations to successful exits. And currently, he runs 2 operations, one in Texas and one in Tennessee. And he lives in Houston with his wife, and they're probably a precious golden doodle. Outside of work, he really aspires to do things like we're doing today to really just invoke impact with entrepreneurs all across the world. And he helps people identify the businesses that they can actually identify that can help them grow and reach their dreams. So, Samir, I really appreciate you coming on. I think that you're going to be able to bring massive impact for our listeners today. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right. So, look, before we get into it, I just want to let everybody know that's listening. Samir and I have a strong background together. We come from the same franchise system, and he was nice enough to buy one of my businesses from me back in 2001. So, I purchased the business and ran it for about 6 years. A very successful business. It was one of my second businesses that I owned in the franchise. And Samir and his family came in and purchased that one. That was their second location. And over their tenure, they have had 4 locations in the franchise and currently are running 2. So we understand business. We have solved problems and looked for opportunities together to really drive success. And so we're really going to be able to have a very constructive conversation here where if you're looking to run your business today and you're looking to take technology to the next level to help you scale, because correct me if I'm wrong, Samir, could you imagine running multiple locations without the technology that you have today?
No, not at all.
Like, not at all, right? Like, it'd just be impossible to go from like, when you have one location, I think you can man it, right? You can get in there and you can just force it. But if you want to go from 1 to 2 or 4 or 10 or 50 locations, there's no way to scale without the assistance of technology, right? And when we're talking about scaling, we're talking about giving our customers a great experience. We're talking about making sure that our team has the tools that they need to drive success. And ultimately, like all of us out there that are running the business, we'd like to make some money. And technology makes that possible. And so what we want to do is find out what people are doing today and what's changing in the landscape. You know, today AI is everywhere. It's coming in and it's taking over the software business. So how are people pivoting to that? And so we really want to be able to give people insight so as they're making decisions in their business, they can make the right decisions. So Samir, it's really easy. This is going to be an easy one. We're going to go through 3 of your top SaaS companies. You're going to give us the macro and tell us what you like about them. And like really, ultimately, what do they do? And then we're going to dive into our 3 questions. And we're just going to hit that. Bam, bam, bam. We got to keep in mind our listeners are just like us. They're busy. And so we want to give them that impact quickly so they can make that decision and move forward. And then we're going to dive into a little bit about goal setting. And then we'll move over to our additional episode, guys, where we talk about goal setting. Because we do know that if you are a business owner and you are successful, you did not get there on accident. You're goal driven. You have systems and processes that you follow in order to achieve your goals. And we just want to talk about that. And so let's get into it. Samir, tell me, what do we got? What's the number one platform right now that you're using to help drive success in your business?
Yeah, I mean, for the first one, I mean, it's definitely got to be a good POS system. I mean, that's the one that obviously you deal with internally, but like you're talking about, customers deal with that as well, right? We want to make that process simple for them. We want to be able to keep track of our customers, especially the returning ones that take advantage of, the programs we offer and everything. So right now, I mean, for years now, in both of our locations, Memphis and Houston, we've been using Pinogy point of sale, right? But the nice thing
Okay.
about Pinogy is it's not just a POS system. right? Pinogy helps us maintain our dry goods inventory. It helps us track our puppy inventory, whether we're selling them, just managing the inventory that we have on hand. It also helps with, when you're purchasing inventory, it makes it very one step to just import that invoice, that invoice, yeah, to just put it in there, right? Rather than having to do it manually by SKUs that, like, we actually had to do on a different platform we used to use when I first got into business about 5, 6 years ago. So it definitely streamlines all aspects of it. My favorite part also is I can have it on my laptop. So no matter where I am in the world, I can actually just log in and into the terminal, see how my Memphis location's doing, see how my Houston location's doing, track again inventory, sales that are happening that day, transactions. Kind of really helps me keep the team in check too, because I'm able to see how they're going live throughout the day.
Nice. You really can keep your finger on the pulse. Well, obviously, coming from the same ecosystem, I'm very familiar with Pinogy. They are great partners. We've done some really cool integrations with them with FormPiper to make the consumer finance aspect streamlined inside of that ecosystem too. So keep an eye out for that. All right, so let's get into it. So Pinogy POS, one of the top software platforms you're using. How would you say that it makes sure that your customers are experiencing the culture that you expect them to see when they come into your business?
So one of the things is, of course, you would also add your customers in. So like, if you were to buy a puppy from us, or even if you were to buy dry goods, right? It doesn't just have to be a puppy. I'm able to enter you into our system, into our club pet program. And that way, we're able to track your purchases. We're also able to, give you those perks. Also, we offer the puppy for a lifetime program. So, every 90 days, if you're buying the recommended vitamins, supplements, dog food, God forbid, if you ever have to use that program, we're able to keep track of it on our end, and it takes the responsibility off the customer, and they don't have to deal with, hey, have I maintained it? Have I bought it every 90 days? No, I can just check for you, and we can always make sure those programs are intact.
So the customer, I'm walking in the business, I have an account with you. I can ensure all my purchases are there. You're keeping track of benefit programs for me and just making it super streamlined and easy. And I'm assuming you talked about it being an inventory system. If I walk in the business, I have an expectation that you're going to have the product that I want. And that POS is making sure that you know to order it. And so your shelves are full with the inventory that's actually selling.
Yeah,
Right. So I don't ever have
absolutely.
to be disappointed, right? As a customer, I'm going to be able to get the product that I'm looking for. So,
No, yeah,
well,
we get
excellent.
alerts. We can actually order straight from the POS system too. There's another package of it. I mean, you technically get like 5 to 6 different programs, which for each specific need. So yeah, there's one called purchasing and receiving. So if I keep track of my top sellers, as soon as it starts dwindling down, I get an alert being like, hey, it's time to reorder this. Or I can even put it on a schedule where, hey, every 2 weeks order this quantity.
Well, I know that was a challenge for us when we ran on that legacy tech you're talking about. Like we would just run out of inventory and then the customers would come in and say, "Hey, where's my thing?" And I'm like, we didn't order it this week. We'll get it for you next week." And that's the worst experience that you can give a customer. So having those alerts is a game changer. Good look.
Yeah.
I mean, if a customer comes in one time and can't get what they need, they got to go somewhere else to get it. It might change their habit. And we don't want to change a habit that we've established with our customer and coming and seeing us. So
No, absolutely.
okay, great. So your customers can experience a much better, buying experience in your business. What about the team? How does Synergy make the team's life easier so they can actually get through the day and manage all of those customers and make sure everybody's getting a great experience?
So each employee, pet counselor, has their own login. So they're able to log in. It tracks their sales automatically. But also when you're checking a customer out, it actually asks you, your name. So that way you're able to get the credit for your sales. Also, if there's any splits, the system will do the splits on it for you. So you don't have to go back during payroll time and being like, oh, well, hey, what percentage does this employee get compared to this employee? It all does that for you. Also, they're able to look into the pet inventory as well to just track what's available, what's not available, pull data such as how much a puppy's age is or how much the weight is. So it's all in there. So it makes the pet counselor's life a lot easy too, because, sometimes we're busy when we're on the floor, talk to another customer. They're able to just log in, grab that information so that way their customers aren't waiting for someone else to grab information.
What about the sales process? Because the way I understand Pinergy, you said it earlier. One, it's a POS. But then it has these additional products inside of it where it manages other inventory where you can say, go through a puppy sale and complete that, right? And it moves all of that information over into the POS
Yeah.
automatically, right? So you were saying, like, I don't have to go back there and do double entry. I mean, that's got to
No.
be a lifesaver for the team, right? Like just making that process smooth and seamless.
No, absolutely. Well, that's the beauty of it, right? Everything talks to one another. So just like what you're saying, right? So if you go into what it's called Pet Tracker, which is the puppy inventory system, let's say you're buying our adorable German Shepherd, you just click sell now. Pet Tracker will talk to cash register, which will then ring up the sale, pull the puppy, pull it out of inventory, ring it up with the pricing, all that stuff. You can obviously check out the add-ons as well. But now it's one-stop shop, like, the legacy ones that we keep referencing. I remember 5 years ago when I got into the business, it was first you rung up the puppy in the POS system, then you went into the kennel management system because it was completely third party. Then you had to re-enter the customer's information the second time. So now, so what I noticed when we first transferred over 3 years ago was on a sale on average, it saved us about 10, 15 minutes per
Okay.
customer. And obviously on a busy Saturday, when you've got multiple puppies going home at the same time, those 10, 15 minutes, it adds up.
Well, it definitely changes the experience, right? Because I know for a fact once they're ready to go, they want to go home and start to play, right? And they don't want to be waiting 15 minutes to do paperwork, right? So, okay, well, this is probably a loaded question because it's your POS and it's the system that brings in all of the money. But how would you say that Pinogy helps you make money in your business, or ultimately, how could it help you save money? It could be either one of them or both.
Yeah, well, again, since it's all built in, I mean, we already talked about how it saves 10 to 15 minutes on average per transaction. So, it definitely gets customers with their puppies home much quicker where they're not waiting. Secondly, it also tracks, all the employee sales. So that saves us time come around payroll. Just because we can just log in at the end of the payroll cycle, see what everybody's sales on. 99% of the time, there's no errors because everything's happening in real time. So we it saves time and money on payroll as well, where we just have to pull the stats, put it in a spreadsheet, upload it to our payroll company. They take care of it. Um, Another one is, again, it's we're talking about, puppies' weights and their lineage and everything. All their medical history is also saved in there. So it's not like we're having to pull the medical history from a third party. And the best thing is also going back to the sale time is when the paperwork generates, since everything's communicating, the health records, the warranty paperwork, the AKC paperwork, everything is printed out in one go with all the customer's information distributed multiple times.
Excellent. So it's really helping you keep all of the value in one place. So ultimately, when you want to present that to your customer, you're not having to go over here and over there. It's just like, let me show you everything that you're
Yeah.
getting. And then when they're ready to move forward, it's all packaged together. And then you're able to deliver that package simultaneously. One, increasing sales because the customer feels very good about the service that they're getting. And then two, you're saving time, making it much easier to go through it with the customer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that there is no doubt that Pinogy is a game changer in the pet space. They have been a leading POS for probably 20 years. And I think it just shows when you have somebody that's been in an industry for so long, they've already solved all the problems and they can just bring you to like high level value. So I'm a firm believer on that one. So I'd have to be with you on that and recommend that out to anyone that's looking to streamline their business. All right. So let's get into it. What do we got? Number two.
Number two would definitely be shop window. So it's our CRM lead management system. Again, all baked into one. As you guys can tell, I like everything that's a one-stop shop. I don't want to go to do 2 to 3 different things to do the exact same thing, just saving time. Efficiency is definitely what saves us time and money at the end of the day, right? So the more efficient we could be in our business, the quicker we can help our customers. So shop window, again, it's a lead management system. It's a CRM. All of our customers, their databases, they're in there. We have it super simple. When you come into one of our puppy socialization rooms, you scan a QR code, it immediately puts you in our database. Obviously, if you submit a website inquiry on our website or Google ads, Facebook ads, it also submits you in there. So one, we're getting access to our leads in real time. So if you were on our website right now, and again, I love German Shepherds, so I'll always use them as an example. But if you're inquiring about our German Shepherd, your information immediately goes into our shop window funnels, as they call them. And I can immediately reach out to you, or my team can reach out to you to get you the customer service first. Um, Second of all, it's also really good because we can also use it for text messaging. So that way, if you're at work, a lot of our customers, during the day, they're browsing, they're at work, they can't pick up the phone, but they can text us. So it's a one-stop shop where we can text them. Text thread's always there, so anybody can pick up. If I'm texting you and then I leave for the day, someone else comes in, they can carry on that conversation. So you, again, aren't having a lapse in customer service, right? It's seamless for you. You're not having to re-explain your wants and needs all over again. And then also for mass marketing, right? We get to send out our brochures. When we've got new puppies in, we can send out a blast, text and email to our customers, letting them know of our new arrivals. Also, if we ever do markdowns or promotions, we're also able to mass market that as well. So it's coming directly to your phone. You're not having to wait to see it on a Google ad or a Facebook ad. It's just direct to consumer.
Got it. Okay, so let's dive in there because you gave a lot of really interesting points. When you're looking at everything you just said, let's laser focus into your customer. So if I'm a customer and I'm filling out this form and I'm going into your database and now you can communicate with me, how is that giving the customers like the best experience possible?
Well, if they've got a question, right, you can just immediately text us, and that way we'll got it. I mean, our team's always on shop window too, so it's always something during business hours that we're constantly on. So if you text us about, hey, is this puppy still available? How much is that puppy? We're able to answer you in real time. I know we've talked a little bit about AI at the introduction, and AI is great. I definitely believe that's where we're headed. However, this is connecting you to a real person. And
Mhm.
sometimes, especially when it comes to a emotional purchase like a puppy, you want to talk to a real person. You don't want to talk to a bot that's just giving you generic answers. We can give you exactly what you need. So that's definitely one good thing for customers.
What about from because I remember working very closely with Shop Window, and when I look at business, I look at three pillars that drive success, right? And it's booking reservations to have people come to your business. You want to do a presentation of value around your product or service when they come into your business. And then ultimately, you want to ask them to fill out a financing application in order to receive the funds to make the purchase. So, to me, those are the three core pillars of success in business. And Shop Window is designed to educate those customers, send out those blasts that you were talking about, ultimately, so you can book a reservation. And so, what's that process like in the business if I receive one of those brochures and I want to book that reservation and come down? And how easy does Shop Window make that happen?
So I'd say really easy, especially keeping the consumer in mind. So like I said, you got a blast, right? It's Monday morning. That's when we send out one of them. You got our blast. We already have buttons included in there where you can actually self-book yourself a reservation. So if you're just like, man, I really want to see this puppy, I'll talk to someone when I get there. You just click that button, opens up our calendar. You can book a reservation for the date and time of your choosing. It updates on our calendar. So we know that, Brad is coming on this day, this time to see the German Shepherd. Also, our phone number is embedded in there too. So if a customer needs to call us, they can just click the phone number. Immediately comes to our store. We can pick up, answer questions to get you to book that reservation in case you have any more questions before, such as what's the gender or anything like that. And then also there's you can text us from the brochure too. So again, if you're not able to give us a call, you can send us a text message, be like, hey, I'm interested in this adorable puppy. Can you tell me a little bit about him?
And tell me, when you're walking into a Saturday and you go look at that calendar, how does it feel to have, say, 20 reservations booked ready to go versus a day where you have no reservations?
I mean, it definitely impacts your mood. I mean, walk in on any given day, right? And there's like 15, 20 for the day. I mean, it pumps everybody up, right? That mindset that,
Right.
hey, we've got 20 guests or X number of guests coming in to see our puppies. I mean, it definitely gets us motivated compared to the days where there's only two or three. And we're kind of like, okay, we definitely need to hit the phones a little bit harder. We clearly need to respond to some text messages, create some engagement. And that's, again, what Shop Window allows us to do, right? We're able to create engagement from nothing.
Well, I remember the days of no reservations, and I remember when we started reservation programs, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is what culture is. This is what running a business is. We need to invite people down to our organization so we can build value and give them a great experience." And so reservations to me is a life-changing event in a business. If you're in high ticket retail today, and you do not invite people down to your business, if you do not have a calendar where you're scheduling it and rolling out the red carpet for those customers when they come down, it's a big pivot that you can make in your business. And there's no question that Shop Window can customize really to any business and help them execute that. So, so we just talked about a customer being able to receive this information. They can book a reservation and come on down to the business all on their own. You don't even have to speak to them. So, would you say that that's impacting your sales and helping you drive revenue in the business?
No, absolutely. And, just to touch on what you said about the reservation program. So when I first got my first store, right, in Fort Myers, Florida, back in September of 2020, I mean, we were doing really good, right? Of course, that's why we bought that business. However, in the first 6 months, we saw exponential growth just because we tapped into that reservation program. A lot of retail spaces will rely on walk in traffic, which, I mean, all the stores I've been in have had great walk in traffic, right? Everyone's curious what Petland's about, what puppies are about, and everything. However, when we decided to scale, and I think you and I had those conversations too early time, and there's kind of like you're the one who kind of pointed me in the direction of the reservation program. But when we started really growing it out, I mean, we saw exponential growth. I mean, we went from selling, I don't know, probably like 15 to 18 a week, and then after the reservation program, selling 25 to 30 a week.
So if you look at that, like call it 10 extra a week, um, 40 a month, average ticket 5,000. I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands of potential dollars simply by inviting people down to your business and letting them know that 2 p.m. is available tomorrow. Does that work well for you? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a simple tweak in a business that can completely change the environment. And I really think Shop Window makes it easier than any software I've seen because we tried lots of softwares prior to Shop Window, and the thing I like about Shop Window is its ability to pivot and present the information that's needed for that customer. And it does it in an engaging, professional, really kind of like social media feel, right? I can scroll through my phone and get all the information. I can watch a video on the company. I can look at PDFs. Everything. I can click on links and book appointments, right? I can literally do everything that I need to do from this one piece of collateral. And ultimately, the software lets you know when those customers are engaging. And so you can actually hit them with a text message and say, hey, just was thinking about you, wanted to see if you had any questions. And so it lets you know who's interested because you might send out 1,000, emails, but in any given moment, maybe only 20 people are ready to talk to you. Well, who are
Yeah.
those people? And Shop Window really helps you identify who you should be talking to.
Yeah, and one more thing, talking about links, I forgot to mention, you'd also send those low monthly payment links through shop windows. I mean, we have it embedded in our brochures. So if a customer's just like, hey, I really want to see this puppy, and instead of coming into the store and applying for low monthly payments, if they want to use that option, they can just do that from their home. So they can book the appointment, run the low monthly payment application, figure out their purchasing power, and when they come in, they're already locked, loaded, and ready. You know what I mean? Now we just got to roll out the red carpet, give them the experience. But now, they have everything they need prior to arriving.
So I'm just going to recap what you said for all of our listeners out there. With Shop Window, you can send out a brochure. They can get all of the information that they need in order to make an educated decision. They can book a reservation to come down to your business and fill out a credit application to get pre-approved. So when they come to your business, they have the money they need in order to make the purchase. Does that sound like what you just said?
No, that's it entirely.
So for anybody out there that's wondering how nice it would be to have people magically show up to your business on an appointment with money in hand, ready to go, we should probably be taking a look at Shop Window to drive success in our business.
For
So,
sure.
all right, great. Well, that's a fantastic one. Couldn't agree more. What do we got for number three?
Number three, just going to kind of give a shout out. Obviously we do use FormPiper. You know, so
I would
that's
appreciate
definitely been
that.
really good. But one of the biggest ones outside of that we really use, I mean, and this one's probably at our core for our business is I'd say Google Drive. I mean, we're so locked into Google Drive, not just the drive aspect, but we also have domains, so that way we're able to control our employees' access to emails, streamline communication, but then also just sharing all the data sheets, all the training that we do internally. And another thing for a customer standpoint is that's where we also keep all their paperwork, right? It's a nice, easy file. We've got a drive that just says puppy paperwork. It's broken down by year and month. And, so no matter when a customer calls us and they're like, hey, I lost my puppy paperwork, or hey, can you send me the health certificate for our puppy we bought 2 years ago? I've got access to that. It's all in one box. We can access it from all of our computers. So again, customers, have that security that, hey, we have their information available for them whenever they need it.
Excellent. So for context, guys, just to give you a little update, um, Samir was letting me know that FormPiper is one of his top programs, but I asked him since I own that company and we're hosting the episode that we would push that off until the end. But today's episode is always brought to you by FormPiper. And what we do is we help businesses automate their consumer financing. And so I'll talk with Samir a little bit about that. So Google Drive was able to swoop in there because we wanted to move FormPiper's ego over to the side, but we appreciate the shout out there. But as we dive into the Google Drive, because I'm a big proponent of Google Drive, I've got it in my system. Sometimes we've used it so much we don't even see it as software. It's just like an integrated part of our life, you know? So when you're looking at that aspect, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but if I'm a customer and I'm coming in, is the Google Drive bringing impact and elevating the culture of the business for me as the customer?
I believe so because again, right? I mean, we keep paper copies as well. We keep them in the store. We have our filing cabinets and everything. But at the same time, right? If you bought a puppy, even if you bought a puppy 2 months ago, right? With the amount of volume we do, for us to go through the binder, go through the banker box, whereas I can just go into the Google Drive and just search, Brad Parker, German Shepherd. You'll pop up even if it's been 6 months ago, and I just be like, here you go, right? Oftentimes,
Well, and you,
customers will
you can
go
do
to,
that from anywhere, right? I mean,
yeah.
you don't have to be at the shop to handle a customer situation because we're cloud based, right? So,
Yeah, there's that. Also, when customers have financing questions or the low monthly payment questions, or even when our vendors have questions for us, right? We're just able to pop in the drive. I can do, like I said, do it from anywhere. Like you said that too. I can just answer your questions. I don't have to wait to be in the store, go through the filing cabinet. It just automates everything, saves time too.
so it's making your life easier as the owner, right? But if we shift into your team, you kind of mentioned training, right? So how are you making the experience for your team better so they can actually get educated and provide your customers with the best experience?
Yeah. So again, we've got a folder just dedicated to training. Right. It's broken down by either phone training, in person training, sales training. I mean, we also do a lot of stuff about likability. Right. Because again, everybody likes to purchase things when they like you. It's easier. Because they're going to buy that item, that puppy, the house, whatever it is, they're going to buy that regardless. It just makes the journey a little bit easier when they like you. So we have all that. So of course, when they're new hires, we're taking them through it. We're going through our training stages and everything. But even our experienced employees, when they want to touch base on something and they're just like, hey, what was that thing about likability again? And I was like, cool. They have access to it when they're in the store. They can go into the drive, print out a copy for themselves, or just read it off the computer. There's training videos as well. So, it's just so much easier because again, you can just search for whatever tool you need rather than being like, well, let me go into my training folder and figure out where this document is.
Right. Well, I feel like that just rolls right over into question three. I would assume that if you have a team of people that are trained at a higher level, they can give a better experience, and therefore that will most likely drive additional revenue in the business. So, talk to me about how you think Google Drive makes that process better and ultimately puts money in the register for you.
Well, one, again, it just streamlines training, right? It keeps all of our employees, all of our pet counselors at the top of their game. They've got access to all this training material so they can keep themselves sharp, right? So, of course, giving that amazing red carpet service keeps us at our
Mhm.
top of our game. The customers are getting the best treatment. You know what I mean? They're more what's it called? They want to work with us a little bit more because we work on the likability, right? Because we don't just try to be a sales, right? We want to create this experience for them. We want to cultivate this happy memory with them and everything. And the fact that the team's able to access that data all the time just ups their craft.
Well, one of the things I found was as good as we do and the best culture you can have, you're always going to have new employees, right? And when you have that space that they can go to and learn without you having to necessarily spend that time, that's why the training videos are so important, right? Because you're on repeat trying to teach everybody. Well, if you have that foundation that any employee can go to at any time and learn and really hone in on their craft, right? They're going to come in more prepared the next day to help that customer and make sure that they have the experience that they're looking for. So it's just the centralizing of information so it's organized for everyone to be on the same page is really where I think Google Drive takes things to the next level. So
Yeah. And one more thing I'd add to that is again, right? Because we're always learning. So it's like even if they have like, if they don't give the best experience to one customer, they can come back and be like, well, what can I learn from this? And the tools are right there for them, right? Hey, I couldn't overcome this objection. Now let me go look at this objection sheet in the drive. Now I'm better prepared for the next customer.
it makes complete sense. Makes complete sense. Okay. All right. Now, here's the thing. You just bought a new location. Okay. You're expanding. You just can't help it, right? You're only allowed to take one of those technology platforms with you to the new location. You have to leave the other two behind. Who are you taking with you?
That's a hard question because I mean, in
Yeah.
5 years, everything's built around it. But I mean, honestly, while you were talking, I think the one that jumped out to me was shop window.
Shop window. I can see where that would land. I mean, the tech is phenomenal. If you can have a system that brings customers to your business without actually having to speak to them, ready to purchase, and it really just builds culture, right? It makes sure that the customers know that you're thinking about them and you're able to provide them with the information that they need. So I love to hear shop window number one. Love the team over there. Gavin and his entire team is fantastic.
Yeah.
We've been working with them forever. The thing I like most about them is they listen to our problems and challenges, and then they'll tweak and edit the software. I mean, it's completely edited over the years, right? It was very basic in the beginning, and now it is this full, robust system. They're just way ahead of the curve when it comes to really thinking about helping their actual customers drive success in their business. So I can see why that new location
Yeah.
is going to be lucky enough to have shop window.
And like you
Okay,
said, so super easy to talk to. They're always available, right? I've used other
always, right?
CRMs, and it's just you're always at a support ticket. This is direct line of communication.
Yeah, it couldn't be better. Now, I don't normally do this, but since you brought up FormPiper, why don't you just give us a quick 1-2 punch? We're not going to do the 1-2-3 thing, but tell me how you use FormPiper in your business to ultimately drive success, and how are we helping you kind of meet your goals as you move through life and business?
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, I know I've used this word a lot, but it's just efficient, right? Efficiency, I think, is the name of our business. It's just how can we do more while doing less, right? And I mean, FormPiper does that because, again, over the years, we've worked with, let's say, anywhere between 5 to 7 different lenders. We partner up with them. The game's always changing, but typically there's always 5 to 7. Um, instead of having to manually enter the information 7 different times, this just, you have the customer enter their information into the FormPiper platform once, and then you're able to click a button and it fills out all the other 6, 7 applications all at once. And all you have to do is just click submit on each one to see how much purchasing power they're going to get. I mean, that gets, we've talked about busy Saturdays. I mean, that just takes so much, or gives us so much time back.
Yeah, well, that's why we built it, right? I know that I used to run 500 applications a month. We were doing individual apps. We would track the time. It'd be 30 minutes to go through the experience. We knew we needed to consolidate into one application. We saw that 30 minutes go to minutes. And it's just an absolute game changer because, in my opinion, when you're in high ticket, consumer finance should be a massive pillar in your business. You should know what percentage of your revenue is being financed, how many apps you're getting, what's your approval rate, what's your close rate. And FormPiper really brings all of that together. So we appreciate you being such lifelong customers of FormPiper. I think you've been on it since day one and have
Yeah.
been imperative in giving us feedback so we can improve our product. And 2026 is going to be a great year. We've got some great stuff coming your way where we're going to take the whole thing to the next level. We're talking one app, but you're going to be able to do all your contracts inside of the ecosystem. We've got some great new opportunities with lending partners that are coming in. So it's going to be a great, great, great year.
No, that's
So,
awesome.
all right. Well, fantastic, guys. Listen, for all of our listeners out there, we really appreciate you kind of buckling in, learning how you can take your business to the next level. What we like to do, though, after this episode, we have a second episode we do hosted around the power of 27, which is my goal setting construct, where I'm going to dive in with Samir. We're going to talk about goal setting because as business owners, especially ones that have grown and scaled, we don't get here on accident. We're goal driven. We have mechanisms that we, follow in order to go through our day. And I'm just going to have a one-on-one talk with Samir about what he does and see if we can share insights on how you could possibly set goals different in your life and kind of take action on them. So before we hop over to that, Samir, just give everybody a little teaser. Do you feel like you've gotten in life where you are by not setting goals, or are you goal driven?
No, definitely goal driven. I mean, you got to know where you're going.
You got to know where you're going. And I guess we don't have to go too deep here because we're going to talk about it on the next one. But I'm curious, when you set goals, do you keep them in your head or do you write them down?
The really big ones, I definitely, the milestone goals, as I call them, I definitely write those down. Constantly look at on paper and be like, all right, this is what I'm working towards. I'd say the week to month goals are more like in my head, where it's just constantly telling myself, hey, this is what we're going for. This is what we're going for.
Okay, great. Well, guys, we all know in life, if you want to get where you're headed, you need to have goals and write them down. In our next episode, we're going to talk to Samir about how he does that, how he navigates from the macro goals down all the way to the daily actions. And we're going to see if we can get some insights that will help you take your life to the next level. So we appreciate you joining the episode, and we look forward to the next one. Samir, I really appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. Thanks again.
Board meeting Wednesday. Beyond the boardroom.